It's time to sound the alarm, folks, because one, Matt Eberflus is still the head coach, and two, there is no leadership in this organization. We're going to talk about it all here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. My name is Harrison Graham. Flus spoke to the media earlier today, and there's just major concerns based on his answers, some of the things he said, some of the things organizationally based from his answer that we should be very concerned about. We're going to dive into it all coming up here, but listen, I know times are tough. I know it's not fun with this team right now, but I'm bringing you content every single day, and I would appreciate it if you joined us. I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for free. It helps me out, helps producer Cullen out, helps us grow, and it helps our voice get louder, and maybe that will inspire change within the organization at some point. And when the Bears do make an official change, and I do think they're at least going to make one, we will have it covered. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us here at Bears Now. All right, let's talk about Shane Waldron. Is he set to get demoted or fired? I do think we're heading in that direction. Eberflus, when asked about Waldron, asked about potential OC change, kept saying we're in the process of that, just said they haven't, come to the final conclusion of what they want to do in terms of what changes they're going to make when it comes to any coaching changes at this point in time. And based on his answers, based on the lack of sitting there and saying, nah, Shane's our play caller, because he could easily do that, I do think he's clearly at least going to get demoted, if not fired. And if you're going to make a change, right? Like, what does demoting him do? Is he going to help with the game plan still? Like, I don't want him involved. Like, he needs to be out of the building if you're not going to have him be the play caller. So I do think that's coming. And again, when that does come, we will hit you guys with a video reaction to that. But the reason you got to make change is because you are getting this rookie quarterback killed. He's losing his confidence. His first 3 games, it's like, okay, it's his first 3 games of his career, whatever. Next 3, built a lot of confidence. Play with tempo, got rid of the ball quickly, was playing with confidence and swagger, played really well. And then out of the bye week, these past 3 games, they were worse than the first 3 games against not as good teams. At least you played the Texans in that first 3-game stretch, and that defense, and the Titans defense has been good this year. And let's face it, this offense since the bye week has been pathetic. And outside of the fourth quarter in Washington, where this team actually, lack of a better phrase, nutted up and had a couple of big boy drives, one which was taken away by your OC because he handed the ball to Doug Kramer, and the second, you punched it in. But they have not recovered as a team and as an offense since the Hail Mary happened. They just haven't. No touchdown drive since the Hail Mary. 23 straight offensive drives without a touchdown. Someone has to pay for that. And it's not going to be Caleb Williams. He's 9 games into his career. It's got to be the play caller. Now, you guys know where I stand. Matt Eberflus should get fired too. But it's pretty clear they're going to change play callers, probably to Thomas Brown in the coming hours or days. What do you think, though? Do you think firing Shane Waldron, is that enough? Is that a big enough move? Like, is that acceptable enough based on what we've seen? Or do you think more should happen? Why for yes, you do think it's enough. And for no, it's not enough. YouTube ad break coming up. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. After the YouTube ad, I will continue to give my analysis. Of course it's not enough. It is absolutely not enough. Now, it's got to be the bare minimum that happens. But Matt Eberflus clearly should pack his bags. There is no reason for him to still be this coach. Point to one thing other than he's got some decent raw defensive stats since taking over as the play caller. The team's been atrocious from a win-loss standpoint. They're horrible on the road. They're atrocious in the division. And today, Flus says, well, we have to remember we're a 4-5 team and we have a bunch of divisional games coming up, as if to point to, well, if we win a lot of those, we get the head-to-head matchups with those teams. Maybe we can catch up. Dude, these are the best teams you're going to play all year. You're going to get destroyed more than likely. He doesn't beat teams above 500. Guess where all the teams in the division are? Well above 500. And this is where you should really be concerned. When asked about any changes, someone asked him, I can't remember, it might have been Jason Leisure, I'm not sure, said, hey, have you and Ryan Poles talked? Is he involved in any potential coaching changes? And he said that they talk all the time, but it's ultimately my decision. He said anything that we change, I've got the power to do it. It's on me. So that should terrify you. Why? Because he picked Luke Getsy. See ya. He wanted Shane Waldron. He's awful. We think Matt Eberflus, given a third try, is going to click the right buttons here? Like, how is this even allowed? How is this even possible? If you're not going to fire Flus because you have this organizational stance of we don't fire a head coach midseason, we're proud of that, then you got to strip power from him on what to do with your other coaches. Like, this cannot be allowed. He has proven he does not have the leadership or judgment traits to make a call of this juncture at this point in the season. Like, what can he point to that he's going to start clicking the right buttons? Name a single impactful assistant coach that he has hired. Really on either side of the ball, but especially on offense. Who? Chris Morgan, the O-line coach, who's one of two coaches that stayed around from the Getsy crew, is horrible. He's the O-line coach and run game coordinator. Run game's worse this year. Offensive line is embarrassing. Getsy, terrible. Has been fired again. Waldron, I thought he was decent in Seattle. Clearly I overvalued him. That's on me. I'll accept blame. But the Bears, they're the guys that they interview these guys. You listen to Shane Waldron talk, you're like, that inspires you? Like, just listen to him. It's like the same with Flus. It's like, this guy inspires you? It just, he hasn't brought in a single impactful coach. And you're just going to let him do it again. Like, how is that even allowed? We're going to get to Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren in a second because you got to point the finger at those guys when it comes to this. All right. First up, we got to talk about our sponsor, Prize Picks. Appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. The best daily fantasy app in North America is Prize Picks with 10 million users and counting in more than 30 states. Speaking of more than, that's how Prize Picks works. More than, less than. They set stat projections, and you just take more or less on points, rebounds, touchdowns, yards, etc. Tons of statistical categories available, and the way to set lineups is easy. You just pick two or more players as long as they're on different teams, regardless of sport, and choose more or less. You can turn $10 into $1,000, which is with as few as 4 correct picks, depending on the type of entry. Get started today at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS when you sign up, because when you play initially for just $5, they're going to send you an additional $50 in bonus money into your account. I've got a little 2-player entry going on for Thursday. Jaden Daniels less on his passing yards. A.J. Brown more on his receiving yards. Should be a fun matchup there in that one. And I'm getting in on all the action, and so should you. So check out Prize Picks today. New customers get $50 bonus once they play for just $5. Regardless if you win or lose that $5 entry. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to take advantage of that deal. Okay. I just got to rant more for a second. Where the hell is the general manager? Where the hell is the general manager? He's nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And I know, and we'll tie Kevin Warren into this as well, I know that a lot of people believe that the McCaskey family just handicaps their GM. You're not allowed to fire a coach midseason. And maybe that's the case. And like I said before, we talked about Prize Picks. If that's true, if Poles is not allowed to fire the head coach midseason, that doesn't mean you let Eberflus make other coaching changes. To me, Eberflus, you cannot give him any more power. Like, if you just refuse to fire him, okay, fine, Matt. You'll keep calling the plays on defense. You're still the head coach. You're not making any real decisions, though. We're taking those decisions out of your hands. I mean, this team is collapsing. No one knows where the GM is. Where the hell is Kevin Warren? Again, he's not some football expert, but he was brought in here to be the president of the team, supposed to be a real leader, get the stadium project off the ground, and everybody's like, oh, well, he's busy with the stadium. Well, where the hell are we at with that? There's no update. No update. No one knows if the stadium's going to happen. No one knows where it's going to be. Every time we hear something, it's, well, yeah, there's nothing new. He wants to do it on the lakefront. That seems impossible. It's just, where is the leadership in this organization? Will somebody step up and say, I'm not going to allow this to continue? And I don't mean, oh, well, let's fire Shane Waldron. I'm talking about, hey, this team sucks. This head coach doesn't have what it takes. I'm watching players half-ass every week now, and we're just going to keep trotting this out there, somebody has to step up and say enough. It's year 3. And guess what? At this point, Ryan Poles, if they fire him, can't really blame him. And I like Ryan Poles, but where the hell is he? And even if he's not allowed to fire Flus right now, fair enough. He still should have fired him last offseason. And I do believe if he wanted to fire him last offseason, they would have let him do that. I don't know that for sure. Maybe he wasn't allowed to then either. But he has spoke numerous times about his belief in Matt Eberflus. So I don't think he can just come out now and be like, yeah, I was handicapped. The organization wouldn't let me make a change. No, you've been in on this coach since the beginning. Now, maybe he's not allowed to do it midseason, whatever, but he holds accountability. He holds responsibility. And where the hell is he? Where is he? This is usually a GM we hear from somewhat frequently. I have no idea where he is. It's unbelievable. It's completely frustrating. You're just wasting another quarterback's rookie season. You're going to ruin him again because that's what this team does. Someone in the office earlier asked me, if Jaden Daniels was in Chicago and Caleb Williams was in Washington, how do you think things would be playing out? I said, Caleb would be playing better than Jaden. Not even because at this point I wholeheartedly believe he's a better player. I don't know. I just know this. At this point, the Bears, you can't assume they can develop any quarterback. There's just no evidence they can do it. None whatsoever, regardless of the coach, regardless of the player, regardless of anything. It's a mess, and it's so hard to watch. Do you trust anyone in the organization? Anyone in a position of power? Poles, Warren, McCaskies, Flus. How could you? I do not. I'm typing my D for don't. Type T for trust if you do. And this sucks to hear, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are with me. It's hard to have any belief right now. And I know it's crazy to say that it's only 3 games, but like when a team collapses this bad, this fast, it's a lack of leadership. There's no other way to put it. So what's next? Well, I think it's pretty clear Waldron's going to get demoted or fired. Thomas Brown is the most likely candidate based on his experience. That'll take over for play calling duties. And you'll limp to the finish line. You'll make this half measure, and you'll probably win 5 or 6 games total. And then you're starting over again. And then your GM, head coach, and quarterback are unaligned yet again. Because even if you only fire the coach and not the GM, if you're bad next year, then the GM's in the hot seat. It's bad, man. It's really, really bad. All right, hit that subscribe button here on Chicago Bears Now. We'll continue to be here every single day, and win, lose, draw, good news, bad news. A lot of bad news lately. We got you covered.